Tonight I am going to make what I call Oktoberfest pasta. Usually I use spaghetti, but this time I have linguine because it is what was on sale. I have my skillet heating over medium heat, and I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and let that get hot. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add 1 onion and about 6 cloves of garlic. Of course, give them a little bit of salt and some pepper. And I just want to cook these for a few minutes until they're soft and translucent. So we're going to go ahead and add our meat to the pot. I have 5 bratwurst, that's about 1 pound, that I've cut out of the casing and just broken up into little pieces. Make sure that gets some salt and pepper. Then you just want to brown the meat and let it cook through. Once the meat is done cooking, we'll just turn off the heat and set it aside while we work on the sauce. So the sauce is really easy, it just requires a little bit of your attention at first. I have a saucepan over medium heat, and I'm going to melt a couple of tablespoons of butter in there. Once the butter is melted, we want to add a couple tablespoons of flour, and right away you want to whisk those together. It'll look kind of doughy, don't worry about that, don't let that freak you out. That's how it should look. We're going to let this cook for 2 or 3 minutes. We just want to get the raw taste out of the flour so that our sauce doesn't taste like glue or something. After a few minutes, it'll start to smell kind of nutty and toasted, and that's how you know when we're ready to go. We don't actually want this to turn brown, but if it does, it's no big deal. Then we want to start adding our liquids. I have a pint of half and half. I'm going to put this in 3 or 4 parts because I don't want to form clumps. So once you've added all the half and half, you should have a pretty smooth but thick liquid. We want to thin this out a little bit and also increase our volume so we have enough for our pasta. Add about half a bottle of your favorite, preferably fall beer. I like the Adams Oktoberfest. Of course, if you don't drink alcohol or just don't want to use beer, you can use some chicken stock or vegetable stock to stretch this. We want to make sure this gets a fair bit of salt and pepper. Add a couple of good tablespoons of your favorite grainy mustard and a couple of teaspoons of prepared horseradish. Make sure those get mixed in really well. Throw in a couple of bay leaves. Depending on how much flour you end up using, that'll affect the thickness of this. This is still looking a little thick to me, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water. You could just let it be that. The sauce will be fantastic. I can't let things be. So I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg, about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of dry ground mustard, and just a pinch of ground cloves. Get those spices mixed in. I'm going to turn up the heat just a bit so that the sauce comes up to a slight simmer. You just want to start seeing bubbles coming up in it. Once the sauce starts to bubble, you can go ahead and add our bratwurst, onion, and garlic mixture in. Then I'm going to put on the lid, turn the heat to low, and just let it simmer along while I cook the pasta. I have a pound of linguine and then a pound of whole grain linguine. I really like the mix of the 2 kinds of pastas. So we'll just let these cook according to the directions on the packaging, and we're almost there. So once the pasta is drained, you want to be sure and remove all the bay leaves from the sauce. Then add the sauce to the pasta. Give it a good mix to be sure all the pasta is evenly coated with the sauce. And then you're ready to go. Now, I like parmesan cheese on my pasta, so I'm going to add a bit of that. And I like sauerkraut with my bratwurst, so I'm going to add some of that. And there you go. I hope you get a chance to try it. We'll see you next time. I almost forgot. I am going to be having an ebook giveaway on here pretty soon, so keep an eye on the blog for more details on that. I'll try to remember to also post videos to Blip and Vimeo, just so that everyone who watches in all the different ways gets a heads up on it. Thanks.